Hey YouTubers, what is going on? What is happening? What is grilling? As you guys can see, this is going to be a Halloween edition. Halloween's, just over a month away, really. And for those of you that know, pretty big on Halloween. Let me get some lights turned on here. Whoa, that was bright. All right, so anyway, what I want to show you guys today is I went to Dollar Store, picked up a set of these garland here, and just skeletons hanging by their neck in some twine. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to separate them out so you have a single skeleton, and I'm going to show you how to make a shadow box with a little fairy in it, or wood sprite, whatever you want to call them, little demon character. Or you can make more of an action shot like this guy right here. All that from this. So first thing you want to do is you want to figure out how you're going to pose them, if it's going to be shadow box or action figure. You're going to need a heat gun, hot glue, like a baggie, that you got from the dollar store, them plastic bags, or some painter's drop cloth or something, and some paint. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to start with this. Oh, another thing you're going to need is, I picked this up. It was like 50 cents. It's a roll of picture wire. If you can find the, what's it called, floral wire, where you make floral arrangements, the fake flowers, that would be better. It's a little bit easier to work with. It's more stiff. The first thing you want to do is uncoil yourself, maybe about a foot and a half. You want to make sure you have a sharp set of cutters. Mine are not sharp. So anyway, you got this. You're going to fold this in half. Just like that. Okay? These will be the tops of your wings. Now, there's plenty of these different style of these skeletons around here. These ones are really cheap and they melt real easy, so you really got to be careful when you're using your heat gun. But what you're going to do is, now that you got that folded in half, you're going to measure from the shoulder blade right down about halfway through the rib cage, or well, between the rib cage and the ass bone there. See that? And you're just going to grab it right there, and then you're going to bend them back up like a W. Can you guys see that? Now right in here, you see that little slot right there? Turn his head. You're going to take and you're going to slide that piece down into that slot, drape the wings over the back so that they hook on just like that. Then you're going to take your hot glue gun Just put a dab of glue so it holds it in place. And then you're going to want to put one down here in the sternum where that piece comes down as well. You have to use a pair of pliers to hold that while the glue sets. Okay. Alright, so what you'll have is something like this, okay? From there, you're going to get your basic wing shape. Now you're going to take another piece of that wire. Doesn't have to be as long. Alright, again, find the middle. Just like that. Now this time, you're going to take and go around the neck. See if I can get this in focus here. Just like you're choking them. That. And then you're going to wrap it around both sides like that. Okay. Then you're going to take your original wire and the new wire you just put in, twist them, and this is going to make the basically the wing bone, the collar bone. Do that to both sides. And this will give you the bones for your wings. Let me show you on this guy. See? Now from here, you got to figure out how you want your wings shaped. If you're going to do it like a shadow box, you're going to want them straight out. Action pose, you just bend them whichever shape you want them in. I have another one I've just started right here. I'm going to have him holding onto a tree, so his wings are going to be straight back. See that? So from there, now you've got to get skin on this guy. Unless you just want to leave him like that, which, alright, be lazy. But if you want skin on him, like this guy's got, kind of dead, corpsey skin. I've already done a video on how to corpse stuff, so you guys can go back and see that if you want. Same with this guy, dead skin on him. Oop, shot you my computer there. There's two ways to do it. You can either wrap them in plastic and use a heat gun and shrink it, or you can take toilet paper and some glue and water, 1 part water, 1 part glue, and just paint it on there, and then put your toilet paper over top of it and repaint it. Now that way, I like it a little bit better that way, but it's a lot more detail. It's a lot more painting involved. I can show you both ways. See, look, just regular grocery bag. Take your hot glue gun. Just make a little, put a little glue on there. Take your plastic. Get that on there. Now when you're done, you should have something that looks about like this without all the glue hanging from it. You can rip that right off of there. Alright. You can wrap the arms as well, but just for this tutorial, you get your heat gun and gently just go over all that plastic. This guy I'm going to have posed sitting, so I got to make sure I get that posed back. See? As you can see, as you hit it with the heat gun, it shrinks that plastic. It starts to look like corpse in the skin. Again, these little guys are so fragile, you don't want to heat them up too much, because then you'll end up just bending all your limbs and everything else. So there's that way to do that. Alright guys, before I get into wrapping this whole guy in toilet paper, as you notice, the other one I had already put into positions. Let me show you how to do that. Again, you got to be very careful. There's two ways you can do it. If you're just moving a small part, you can take just the heat from your tip of your heat gun. Let's say I just wanted to bend this hand right there. Kind of just set it around there and heat it up. Take a pair of pliers or something. And you want to make sure you bend right at the joint. Otherwise, you're going to have like a bowed arm, or look like he was a sailor and got scurvy or something. Old-timey sailor, no offense to you freaking Navy guys nowadays. You just sit there and hold it until it cools. See? Just like that. You do that with each of your joints. Then I suggest you do that before you start wrapping your guy, whichever way you feel like doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and pose this guy real quick, and we'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I finished posing this. What do you think? I think he's going to turn out pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping them in that toilet paper and show you what it looks like after that stage. Alright guys, so now we've got them both wrapped as much as I want to wrap them. You can wrap the skulls, you can leave parts open. Now this one that was wrapped in toilet paper is soaked with toilet paper and glue, so that's going to have to sit overnight. This one here we can keep working on. So that's what you should have so far. Alright guys, so I changed the camera angle a little bit so you can get a better idea of what I'm going to do next here. We'll take the guy we wrapped in plastic because the other one's still drying. And in order to make these bones look like wings, or these wings rather, this wire to look like bone, you're going to take your glue gun and you're going to run a bead of glue right down these wings just to thicken them up a little bit. See how much thicker they look now? Now you can leave them like they are, or you can color them. What I like to do is I went and bought nail polish while I was at the dollar store. It was $1 because I'm cheap, so I like all the cheap stuff. Once that glue's dry, that also helps give you a little bit more stability to the wings. But what I do is I just go ahead and paint them white with the nail polish. Just like that. As you can see, all the excess glue that was on there kind of stands out a little bit more now. Makes them look a little bit more like bone or whatever have you. Now your first coat of paint you're going to want to be black. Now you don't want to smother it on there so you lose all the detail, but you want to get it on a good coat on there. So you're just going to paint the entire guy black. See that? Now I've chosen to leave his skull, this one, the skull unwrapped. Just because I think I'm going to like this one with a full skull face. But what I will do is paint the eyes might be easier to do it with a toothpick because these ones are really small. So anyway, now you gotta let him dry. Alright guys, for the next part, he looks kind of cool, different colors. It'll show up better or different, you know, with the light on it. But next part we're going to do is just add the guy a tail. Simple pipe cleaner. I chose to go with red for this one. Basically just run it down the spine. You can leave it long for now until you figure out how long you actually want it. And we'll start with the wings. So here I have just a grocery bag that I spray painted purple, just like the wings on this guy right here. It's the same grocery bag. And you actually you start from the back. Almost screwed that one up. And you just pick a good spot. Make sure it's gonna cover your whole wingspan. Because you can always trim it off later. And then you just follow the bone line of your wings. And then you do the same thing for the other side. If you want, you can glue that little piece down. All right, get another piece. Make sure it's gonna fit good. Again, you start up the middle of the back. These ones are a little harder because they're folded back, but just got to make sure you get it pushed in there and catch that glue. If you want, you can trim it or cut it, glue it, whatever, right around the bottom part here so it blends in with the tail. Alright, so there's that part, which yeah, it looks a little crappy right now. And you just get yourself a set of scissors, a set of scissors. And just trim right along your bone line. Leave it just a little long. See how you got just a little bit around that? All right, now for in between the body and the bone, and then that bone and that one, you want to kind of do like a little arch like you see in the bat wings. Do the same thing for the other side. So you end up with something like that. Now you take your heat gun, move all this shit out of the way. And you're just going to hit these wings real lightly with some heat until they stiffen up. See, as they stiffen up, they kind of pull into place. See the difference? See how nice and tight they look now? Alright, then you can figure out kind of how you want his tail, how long you want it. What shape you want it. Actually, I think that's a pretty good length right there anyway. I'm not even going to bother cutting it, but you could cut it off. And then what I like to do to make it not look like a pipe cleaner, I'll take a lighter or a torch. You just kind of melt it a little bit, starting from the end where it's so it gets real thin, and leaving the tip or the base by the back thick. See how that works? Now I think I'm going to give this guy some hair. And what I have here is fun braid hair for $1 from the dollar store. This is nice and green, nice and colorful. I also have a piece of this that I've already taken, I've already cut off. Put some purple in it with spray paint. So I think maybe I'll use, now you know what, I'm just going to use a piece of this because his wings are purple. You don't need a whole lot because it's a really tiny skull. Okay. And then you want to decide how you're going to want his hair. What we're going to do, I think I'm going to give him kind of a mohawk look. We'll just run a little bit of glue. We'll take some hair. We'll start at the bottom. What the hell's going on? Freaking fly on my camera. Did you guys see that? Wow. See how that did that right at the bottom? And we'll take a little bit more. We'll go above that. Unfortunately, my glue just started to freaking cool down, so put just a little bit more glue on there. Get this hair glued down. Oh, you son of a bitch. And we'll take a little bit more. Try to get some of these extra strains off of here. Strands. And There you go. What do you think about that haircut? I think that's pretty one badass looking little dude right there. What do you think? So as you guys can see, putting the hair on here could be a little bit tedious, but it's worth it in the end. I think that's a pretty kick-ass haircut he's got. Pretty decent shape of the wings. I think it all worked out fucking awesome. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the same technique of painting the other one as soon as it's dry. The one we did with the tissue paper. And then I'm going to set them up in their scenes and I'll show you what they look like at the end.